everybody, and welcome to another episode of Vince Fisher Friends. I'm Kev, and she's Nikki.
Hi.
And Nick, how's your week going?
It was tiring.
Yeah,
and
I get that.
Like one of those I want to rip my hair out at points types of things.
Okay.
But it was never bad. It was just busy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so I thought about this the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't told you this yet. I thought so hard for like hours about this the other night. I was like, life is a yin yang because every time something good happens, something happens where I'm like, ugh.
Well, I mean,
I feel like it's always a balance.
Everybody talks about it having to balance itself out. So that would make sense.
Yeah, it was just overwhelming because like 5 good things happen and then 5 bad things happen. And you're like, all right.
This is just a roller coaster.
I just want to lay down. So that was my week. Yeah.
I didn't have anything in particular happen. It was just kind of another one of those just kind of draining weeks. There was some stuff at work this morning that just, I don't know what happened, but it didn't seem like anything was going right, which is always fun.
Yeah.
So that's always fun, especially when you're in television and like it just doesn't work. So that was it's
anything where you have an audience or clients, when things go wrong, it's tough because it's not just you affected.
Yeah. So that was fun, but you get through it, I guess. So,
yeah. You too. My problem is, in order to get through it, I just like bottle everything up and internalize everything. And then my body starts to hurt. My head hurts. So this week, my left arm has been hurting. I think just because I'm not sleeping well.
Probably.
But in my head, because I've had so many different health things, I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. Because I am so used to having pains. And I go to the doctor and they're like, nothing's wrong. And then I go again and they're like, oh my God, you need emergency surgery. And I'm like, I tried to tell you. So now I get like paranoid. So basically I'm dying.
I mean, it's not something to laugh about, but it's kind of like
it's something to laugh about. It's not something to laugh about when you think of like
medical
women
issues,
in healthcare.
Yeah.
Like they just don't believe us.
Which is weird.
A lot of the time, it's just women and men are treated very differently in the medical field, I think. But
I think women and men are treated very differently in a lot of places.
This week, I'm fine.
Okay, well, that's
when
good.
I needed emergency surgery, I wasn't.
Yeah.
But this week, I think I'm fine. I just slept bad.
I don't think. I mean, I guess I had. How many times have you had to have emergency? Is it just the? Is it just
the
once? Okay.
Yeah, I've had other planned surgeries before that. This one was the only scary one.
Okay. So I think I had 2, kind of ish. One was like my appendix that was really bad after several years of like going to the doctor and not having any issues. And I had surgery, like went to the ER one night and had surgery that night. So that was an emergency type.
Yeah, because that always has to happen quick.
Yeah.
Did you like have any pains before that? Or
oh yeah, I had pains for years.
So the doctor was telling you, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which they could never find anything. Like I get it. Like there's a reason. I know a lot of people don't like doctors because they're like, oh, they can't ever figure things out. And I'm like, well, there is a reason it's called practicing medicine and not expert. Like not, it's not an exact thing.
I get it too. But I think they should still listen better because if you're like, I'm still having this pain, unless it's a case where like it's someone coming into the ER for drugs or something, that's really different. But when it's like, because how old were you? Probably young.
Yeah, I was, when did I have that surgery done? In 6th grade, so I was a kid.
Like anyways, I could go on a rant.
Yeah. Anyway, and then I had my knee surgery, which wasn't really emergency.
But you needed it,
It was like, it was a week or 2 after it happened that I had the surgery, but it wasn't something that was it had to be
planned.
done. Yeah. So it wasn't like oh, well, we're just going to get this done because it, it's not going to hurt anything if it waits a year, but no, it kind of needed to be done. So Yeah, that was an interesting little start to our podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, hello. If you're not ever been here, this is a very random podcast. So
yeah, and also we're tired right now and a little mad at our week, so sorry. But the rest of the episode will be fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So yeah, if you're new, welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and go to our Instagram at insufficient_. Is it insufficient_friends?
Yeah.
Insufficient_friends. You can tell I go to it so often.
After you just yelled at everyone for not going to it.
Even though I just yelled at everyone for not going to it last week.
Yeah.
I don't actually have an Instagram. This is the only Instagram thing that I have, so I don't have a real Instagram account.
Yeah.
I've never got one, but it's so you can do that. Comment, we'll try to shout you out. We don't have any this week because nobody's commenting, of course. And we just try to have fun. So if you enjoy, and I think our description says if you enjoy a conversation with your friends, then this is like a podcast for you. This is just like what we do. We just sit here and have a conversation. But we don't have any shout outs this week.
Nope.
You said,
but I'm excited for our topic.
Yeah, we're gonna do the Show Me Mo is what we'll call it. Show Me Mo.
I like that. Can you put like a rainbow effect?
I'm sure I can.
Video?
Do I have a wind chimes or something like that I can do? That might be fun. I'm sure I got something. Mo. Yeah, Show Me Mo. I don't know if I have. Oh, here we go. Okay, we're gonna do Show Me Mo.
Okay.
Perfect, isn't it?
That was good.
Okay.
I like it.
Anyway, so we're going to talk about the history and some of the fun stuff to do in the state. If you're not from here, or if you've never been here, or if you're, trying to escape, it's it's what it is.
Sometimes I try to escape, but we do have some fun things to do in this state. Yeah. And a lot of pretty things, a lot of nature stuff. So we'll talk through. I think we're going to start with some history.
Yeah.
And then we'll go into like itineraries. So if you're not from here, or if you are from here and you just want things to do, we'll go through like some popular things in different areas of the state.
Excuse me. Yeah. So we'll start with a history a little bit. We're going to try not to bore you too much because we don't want to.
We probably do that anyway.
We'll
we do a lot of history.
Yeah, we'll fall asleep ourselves if we bore ourselves too much. So, so Missouri was founded as the first permanent settlement in Missouri was founded in 1750 in St. Genevieve.
Where's that?
It's south of St. Louis, I believe.
Okay, that makes sense. If St. Charles was the Missouri like the River. First. Yeah.
And then in where'd it go? In the early 1800s, it was established as the Louisiana Territory, part of the first part of the Louisiana Territory, and St. Louis was the capital of that territory. Was named as the capital of that territory. It was about, 1821 when Missouri was actually established as a state. Yeah, it was the 24th state in the United States. And within, it had St. Charles as a capital for like 3 or 4 months. It was a temporary capital until the governor decided that Jeff City was going to be the capital. It's not like it's been around for a long time. They just celebrated the bicentennial a couple of years ago, so 200 years. And it doesn't, 200 years doesn't seem like that long because it's really not in the grand scheme of things. It's not that long. But it's only it's less than 50 years after the country was established as an actual country.
So it's what, 5 or 6 generations? That's still quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a good amount of time. I'm trying to find. I saw it a minute ago. Oh, here it is. So at the time when this happened in the 1800s. Was it the 1800s? There was an earthquake in Missouri was the strongest earthquake east of the Rockies in the country. I'm trying to find the exact. Oh, here it is. On December 16th, 1811. It was epicentered in New Madrid, which is named after the fault line, or So in that area, that's the fault that runs through. It was a 7.5 magnitude quake, and it destroyed over 200,000 square miles of land, and rang church bells as far away as Philadelphia and Boston, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Like, something in Missouri can ring a bell. Like, an earthquake in Missouri can ring a bell in Boston. That is
Missouri's out there ringing the Liberty Bell. Like, we're here.
Quakes, it says quakes lasted into April of 2012. So, or aftershocks.
Wow.
Which is 5 months? December to April? That's 5 months of aftershocks. And there was a rumor, and I don't know if this is, like, there was always old wives' tales and things, that it made the Mississippi River flow backwards.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Which is also just crazy. Because a 7.5, I mean, this obviously wasn't really populated land, so it's only going to be so much that it does.
Yeah, because you said like 2,000 acres of...
200,000 square miles.
Oh, 200,000 square miles.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a lot, but if that's a lot of farmland in Missouri, then...
Yeah, well, it would have been in Illinois and Arkansas and all that, because it was it's down in that corner. So Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Mississippi, Georgia. So
yeah, I didn't realize that Missouri borders, I think, 8 states. It's like tied for the most.
2, 3, 4, 5. 6,
I can't remember what the other one was.
7, 8. Yeah, 8 states.
Yeah.
Iowa, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska.
And it's shaped really weirdly.
Yeah.
So I go based on charcuterie boards.
A lot of the states on the East Coast are weirdly shaped.
They are too, and then out west.
When you get west, they're all square. Yeah, for the most part, they're more square.
Yeah. So I have gotten a lot of my friends like charcuterie boards based on that are like carved like what their state is. Like Stevie, I got a Pennsylvania one. So that's just like obviously basically a rectangle. Yeah. But Missouri's I have a Missouri one, and it's you can't really use it as a charcuterie board.
Yeah, because it's got some weird lines. I mean, and a lot of these states are the borders are drawn along rivers, which is why, you know.
I like it though; it's cool because you can see it on a map.
Yeah,
instantly.
So 200,000 square miles is what I said that the earthquake damaged, or it said decimated, but the state itself is only 69,000 square miles.
Wow.
So it's almost 4 times. It's 3
that's
something
way
times
more than
the
I
size
thought.
of the state. Yeah. It's a lot of land that it destroyed.
I think we've talked about this before. When it's big numbers like that, I can't visualize
It's not really comprehensible.
Because I think we talked about that with like the national debt or something.
Yeah, it's not really comprehensible when you think about it in those.
You have to like see a visual almost. Yeah.
Because it's just not. Yeah, it's just not that. It's 18th largest state by land area. That's kind of surprising. I knew it was a larger state, but that's 18 seems high. But I mean it's kind of in the middle-ish.
If you drive from the Boot Hill to up to the top left corner, I don't know directions, so in my head it's top left.
That would be
on the map. It's top left.
That would be northwest.
So
southeast to northwest.
Yeah, that's a long drive.
Yeah, it's a trek.
If I look at Google Maps and go from the bottom right to the top left, it's a long drive.
Yeah, because even just going from St. Louis to Kansas City, which is a direct highway, it's like right across. It's
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours, depending on how leady your foot is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So which
any other
that's actually they're getting ready. We've talked about this too. We haven't talked about it on here, but they're getting ready to do that big
highway
interstate expansion. So they're going to make it 3 lanes all the way through the state, which will be nice.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that how long it takes.
Construction will be annoying. It always is, but it's worth it in the end.
Yeah.
If people can just get over themselves and get through the construction.
Yeah. So the other thing about the state that's interesting is it's called the Show Me State, which nobody can ever understand why. It seems like. And it's
Yeah.
just a random, like, there's different things that you hear, like, oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
because we have this, and they want, they're like, oh, well, show me that, or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I don't really know. But it's the actual legend, according to the Secretary of State's website, when they talk about the history, is a U.S. Congressman, Willard Vandiver, who was in the House of Representatives from 1897 to 1903.
Gosh.
And he apparently, it says in a speech, he declared, "I come from a state that raises corn and cotton and cockleburs and Democrats, and frothy eloquence neither convinces nor satisfied me. I am from Missouri. You've got to show me."
Yeah, which I like that statement. That's funny.
Yeah. So it's basically, just like, I'm not gonna just listen to what you gotta say.
Yeah, I'm from the country.
Yeah.
You got to show me.
You gotta show me what you're talking about.
Words aren't going to do anything. Yeah.
So it also says that it could have originated from a mining town in Colorado.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because the miners,
was
they were sent to replace some other people, and they didn't know the area, didn't know the land, and so they were always saying, "Show me, show me."
Miners from Joplin.
What's that legend?
Miners from Joplin, Missouri, unfamiliar with Colorado.
Yeah.
Mining methods. Yeah.
I always liked that legend.
Yeah. So it kind of it even says at the bottom, it's like it kind of has turned into its own thing. For it's different for different people. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, there's not a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of history because it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around since. The territory or whatever has been around since the 1700s. The first.
Yeah. There's a lot of conflict and Civil War history, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of battlefields here too.
Yeah, I grew up not that far from.
Yeah.
A pretty big one down in Springfield. So.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I looked up on visitmo.com. There's 121 itineraries that they've drawn up for people who are visiting Missouri. And they get really specific.
Oh,
It's
I'm
like,
sure. Yeah.
if you're a couple and you want to visit Herman, this is your itinerary, like stuff like that. So I thought that was really interesting. I didn't know that it was that many. But I just pulled highlights from St. Louis, Kansas City, Herman, Lake of the Ozarks, and Branson.
Okay.
And then
Those
I
are
know
probably
you're pretty,
our most touristy places.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. So, I mean, we can give some other highlights, but that's kind of the big ones I focused on. So, here's like, and also don't come at me and be mad for something I say, because part of this is from the website, part of this is like personal experience and what I thought was genuinely worth going to see or going to do or whatever, or eating or whatever.
Yeah.
So, especially when it gets to Kansas City barbecue, no one come at me, because that's like
That's where you're from. So.
people get in fights over Kansas City barbecue.
Yeah. I mean, I just love barbecue, so I don't really.
Right? Yeah.
I don't really. I walked out of work today and it smelled like barbecue everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want barbecue now.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I have my favorites, and I'll talk about it. It's not necessarily because of the food, but because of the area. But I'll start with St. Louis. So I was born in St. Louis, so some of this is stuff I've done, and then some of this is from the website too. That's like the most popular tourist things. So obviously the Arch. And then underneath the Arch is a newer, within like the last 5-7 years,
They've
they
done
put
a new
that
museum. Yeah,
in.
they did a whole
And
remodel.
it's actually, I really enjoy it. And, you know, there's kids things there too.
Yeah, I haven't been there since they redid it. I mean, last
It's
time I
worth
was there,
going.
it looked old.
Yeah.
There's always been a museum. Like, there was a museum in it. It just
But
was
it's
kind of
new now.
outdated and just
They really revamped it.
Yeah.
And it's very, very interesting because they go through a lot of the Native American history in the area, and it's really cool. So it's worth it, and then you have to go up the elevator to the top.
I've done
unless
that.
you're scared of heights.
I've done that. Yeah, if you don't like heights,
Absolutely don't
what
do
is
that.
it? 600 and something feet.
Something crazy, yeah.
It's not like it's tall. It's not like a skyscraper. Like, it's not like
yeah.
the Willis Tower or the Empire State Building or something.
But tall. And when you get up there, it feels like you're swaying.
It's
so
skinny
if you get,
and it moves,
Yeah.
which is not something that you, because when you're up there, it's only like like it's smaller than an airplane cabin. Like it is not a lot of space.
Yeah,
when you get up there.
So if you're scared of heights, definitely don't do that. My husband is scared of heights, and he hated his life up there. He asked me to never take him back.
My mom refused to go, so I
love it.
I don't know if
fun.
she went like when she was younger. She doesn't like heights, and I remember she did not. She wouldn't go with us, but
that's a good one for St. Louis. I think it's worth it, and now especially with the new, especially Native American history in the museum, it's very interesting. And then Busch Stadium at Ballpark Village. I think so. Busch Stadium is on here. When I talk about Kansas City, the Royal Stadium is not, because Kauffman is just a pillar of concrete, basically, and it's ugly. But Busch Stadium in St. Louis is actually, like, especially with Ballpark Village now, too, it's such a cool area.
Yeah.
Even when there's not, like, a game, maybe there's other things to do around there. It's really cool and worth going to.
Yeah.
And then Ted Drew's frozen custard is on my list.
See, I
love Ted Drew's.
We went to Ted Drew's.
So good.
And I don't think it's any better than like Andy's or something. Like
Andy's makes my stomach hurt and Ted Drew's doesn't. So I don't know. There might be little differences, but in general it's very similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still frozen. It's all frozen custard, which is good. It's like a creamier ice cream,
so good.
But it wasn't.
It's just like a St. Louis staple.
It is a St. Louis staple.
And then one of my newer favorite things is the Budweiser brewery experience, and they have like a newer beer garden. And so it's like a cute little area where after the tour you can like sit and actually order drinks and things like that beyond like the samples. Okay. And it's actually a really cute little area.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I did that tour, but it was it's fun anyway.
Yeah.
And then Grant's Farm is fun too, which is
I have that on my list of like kids stuff that would be better for kids to do too. But yeah, that's a good one. That's obviously like adults to do. And then
you don't want an 8-year-old drinking at the Budweiser brewery.
Yeah. I mean, there were kids there. I hope that they had apple juice in their cup, but
yeah, I mean.
But it was fun to do the tour and then have, a place to like talk and whatever. And then one of my favorite things is the Fabulous Fox, the theater. Seeing a show there. It's a beautiful theater.
I'd love to go see a show there.
Yeah.
But even if I can't go see a show, I would like to do a tour of it because it looks amazing. It looks beautiful.
That's a podcast idea.
And I would love to see it. I'd like to see a show there, and I'd like to see the theater because it's in a weird part of town too. Like
it is. It's very odd.
It's right next to St. Louis University, and then it's just like it's just a weird area.
It is a weird area. That's like really the only thing around it of note. But it is worth it because it is very pretty on the inside. So pretty. I saw the what is it? The Six Flags of Henry VIII. What was that called?
Was it just called Six?
Yeah, Six.
Yeah.
I went to Six.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just called Six.
That's how I know I'm tired.
Anyway.
Brain no worky. So yes, the Fabulous Fox. That's good. That's worth it. We could go take a tour of that as like a podcast trip. And then the last thing, like adult related, and then I'll talk just a couple of kids things. So there's a mansion bed and breakfast. So there's a lot of great hotels. The Union Station Hotel, things downtown by Ballpark Village. I mean, there's so many like Hiltons and whatever. But there's this mansion bed and breakfast that I've always wanted to go to but never been because we're so close to St. Louis. We don't really stay the night ever.
Yeah.
But if we did, I want to try. It's the Fleur de Lis Mansion.
Okay.
So it's just a renovated mansion that's now a B&B, not Airbnb, just a B&B.
Bed and breakfast, yeah.
And each room is themed like something different, St. Louis. So
interesting.
I would want to stay there next time. And then for kids, obviously the zoo. It's cheap. It's great.
The zoo's great for everybody. It's it is one of the top-rated zoos in the country.
It is. It's great.
It's very good. So even if you're not a kid, the zoo is a fun place to go.
Yeah, agreed. City Museum.
Oh, yeah, City Museum.
I mean, Casey loves the City Museum, and he's an adult. So. Yeah, but I mean, kids go crazy for it. And I remember going there all the time as a kid. And even my parents took us, and then we would go. I think we went on a field trip once, too.
Yeah, I don't remember. We didn't learn about the City Museum until I was a little bit older. Like, still a kid, but not super young.
It's fun.
I think we did the Magic House more before that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But
So I put that on the list just because it's so unique. It's not a museum, really. It's a very fun place.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's a former shoe factory.
Yeah.
It's like a huge, like a 5-story building.
Yeah.
That they turned into like a giant jungle. Basically, it's a big jungle gym.
Yeah.
It's a 5-story jungle
with different
gym.
themes.
Yeah, and like they've made
a
concrete
bus on the
caverns
roof.
in the the middle of it, and like there's a bus that you can climb into on the roof, and
Is there a Ferris wheel?
I think there's a
now.
Ferris wheel somewhere
Yeah.
up there, like, and there's like jungle gyms outside and inside. They go outside and inside.
Yeah.
And
It's cool. It's
really
worth going, especially if you have kiddos.
Mm-hmm.
But and then Grant's Farm obviously is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's Anheuser-Busch.
I really want to do. You can at certain times if the family's not there, because the family still uses.
Yeah.
The Anheuser-Busch family still uses that property at times.
Yeah.
But at times you can pay to do a tour of the mansion.
Oh, because
On the property.
wasn't it Ulysses S. Grant that originally
think
owned
so.
that land?
Which is, it would be cool to do a tour
I
of the
agree.
mansion.
I don't think I've done a tour of the mansion.
No, I think it costs like versus whereas
We've obviously done the
tram
petting
ride
zoo
is
and
free,
tram.
and all that stuff. But if you do, there's a couple tours that you can do that aren't free that are a cost.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And I think the tour of the mansion is one of them, but it's
Probably.
only certain times when like it's not being used.
That'd be
So
really cool.
it would be really cool. And that's also where they train the Clydesdales for the
Nosy. I don't know if I'm nosy or just curious, but I love seeing like how other people live, both now and in the past.
I think that's how a lot of people are. I mean, obviously, you have entertainment television and stuff that I mean,
That's
they used
true.
to have,
I didn't even think
they used
about
to have
that.
a show called Cribs.
Yeah.
You just went. All you did was go in and see other people's houses. Like,
Yeah, and I do watch a lot of like HD TV and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, so Grant's Farm is great. The petting zoo, everything there is great for kids. And then the last one I have for St. Louis is the aquarium at Union Station. I think it's newer.
It is newer. I
But
haven't
we
been
went
there, but
2 years ago, and it was really good.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Union Station's fun. There's more than just the aquarium there. There's
Yeah,
little restaurants.
I haven't
other places.
been to Union Station in years because used to when I was a kid, it was just a mall,
Yeah.
and
it
was
still has
it was
stores
a really
and stuff, but it's very much
dying mall.
an entertainment venue now.
Yeah. They've done a lot to it because that's also where I don't remember I don't remember what it's called, but they've got a big Ferris wheel outside of it.
Yeah.
And then the St. Louis City Soccer Club, their stadium is right across the street from it too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
And
haven't
it's not
been.
that far. If I remember right, it's not that far from the Budweiser brewery experience because I think that same day we did both.
Budweiser's a little south of there.
But I think it's drivable. Like we
It's
did
yeah,
both.
it's easily
Yeah.
drivable because it's still in the city.
Yeah.
But it's a little farther south. Because Busch Stadium is just like a few blocks from Union Station.
Yeah.
But the actual brewery is a little farther south.
Yeah, it's not in the same area.
Um.
But it's cool. So that's my highlights of St.
Okay.
Louis.
If the only things I would add in that I always enjoyed, I like museums. So the art museum I always enjoyed.
Yeah.
There's a Missouri History Museum there that I didn't care about, but
Is that in the Capitol building?
no, it's in Forest Park as well, I think.
Oh, okay.
So the art museum I liked. I always loved going to the Science Center. We went to the
I guess
Science
I've
Center.
never been to
all
the art
time,
museum because I've been to in Kansas City the Nelson Atkins, but that's
which
it.
is I actually think Nelson Atkins is better than the St. Louis one. But
Oh, I
the St.
know
Louis
for sure
one
it is, but yeah, that was not me being rude. But yeah,
But the St. Louis Art Museum is a very nice museum.
Oh, yeah.
And then what I said that
the Science
Science
Museum,
Center.
said.
The Science Center is really cool. I always loved going to the Science Center because it's just a lot of fun experiment
Yeah.
type things that you can do.
I don't know that
with-
we went to the Science Center
stuff
because
like
I was
that.
born in St. Louis, but we only lived there for 3 years. So like my brother was born in Kansas City, so that's where we were raised.
Okay, yeah.
So a lot of the Kansas City stuff, we did the Science Center in Kansas City and stuff like that. But
And then the only other thing would be Six Flags. We went to Six Flags a lot when I was a kid.
yeah, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even have Worlds of Fun on my Kansas City list.
Yeah.
They're very expensive now. Like
All
super
theme parks
expensive.
are expensive now.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much
'Cause
things-
we thought
it costs
about-
a lot to do anything.
I know. We thought about doing that for Mother's Day. My mom likes to always do something active and not just like brunch or something.
Yeah.
But I think she said it was really, really expensive, so we're going to do pickleball instead.
Nice.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been to Six Flags in years, but
I think the last time I went to Worlds of Fun was like the year after I graduated high school, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was probably in high school the last time I went to Six Flags.
Yeah.
Which has been a little while now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only things that I would add. Like there is another museum that I really like is there's it's called the Transportation Museum. It's basically all trains.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And they actually have one of the Union Pacific Big Boys there.
Oh, really?
Which is the largest steam.
Do you have a
train
Lego
ever.
I do not?
I do not.
Oh.
I don't know if they make that in a Lego.
Interesting.
But
that's cool.
there is it's one of the largest steam trains ever
Yeah.
created, ever built. And they also have so they just got a bunch of old trains. They've got one of the old I don't remember what it was called, the Aeroliner or something. There was only like 4 of those ever built, and it's like a very futuristic looking train that they've got. Like they've got a lot of cool stuff out there. And it's kind of just fun to walk through. You can walk up in a lot of the trains and look at them and stuff like
that's
that.
cool.
But, yeah, so it's just something fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
and then there's
St.
always
Louis.
the little stuff like,
Oh, there's
Putt-Putt
so
and
much
malls and stuff
yeah.
like that. But
And all the food and drink. I mean, Ted Drew's and the brewery was the only thing I put on there because I was like, that's the St. Louis of the St. Louis. There's so many other little things, though. Things in the grotto. There's so much.
Yeah.
I mean, same with Kansas City. Like, there's literally an app for Kansas City barbecue, which I'll talk about. So it's like you can't even delve into that because it would be a whole episode in and of itself.
yeah, we're just trying to hit the highlights.
Yeah. So next up is Kansas City.
Okay.
So here's some of my favorite things in Kansas City. And of course, just like St. Louis, I'm going to miss stuff. But these were always my favorites growing up. So the World War I Museum, I really enjoy. It's one of the largest collections of World War I artifacts. And then you can also go up in like the tower. And that's kind of a staple of the skyline of Kansas City.
Yeah, the tower. Yeah. I've driven by it, but I don't think I've ever actually been inside.
It's very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then my personal favorites, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and American Jazz Museum, they're kind of like in the same building.
Okay.
And those were always my favorites growing up.
Nice.
It's just fascinating. And then they actually do like shows and they'll do different exhibits and things like that too. So it's worth it. And kid friendly as well. The Nelson Atkins.
That's a great museum.
So great. Yeah. Perfect. They also do a lot of stuff like events on the lawn. And I think that's where like they do First Fridays and things. There's so many events that they hold because there's a massive lawn.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
And
so lots of stuff there too. They do picnics.
Yeah, and the art actually goes out onto the lawn too.
Yeah.
Like part of the museum is on the lawn too. Like
yeah, it's very cool. It's a very interesting place. I don't know if they still have it, but they used to have like this clear maze. And so my friends and I did it when we were in high school, and you'd like run into it because it was clear.
Yeah.
So you'd like run into the walls and stuff. But they always have something fun going on.
Okay.
And then same with Union Station. Union Station also has massively cool exhibits.
They've always got cool.
They had the
exhibits.
mummies and. One of my favorite things was to do like the gangster tour there because they show you like where the shootouts were there.
Yeah, because
where
there's still bullet holes in the outside of the building from shootouts. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was always really cool. As a kid, you're like, whoa, it's cool. And then kid friendly stuff, and then I'll get to like the food and drink that I've enjoyed. The zoo, Kansas City Zoo, is also great. We went there a lot. More than the St. Louis Zoo, just because we were closer, obviously. But and it does cost. It's not free like the St. Louis Zoo, but it's worth it. It's really good. I was obsessed with the polar bear there growing up.
Okay.
I don't even remember its name now, but I have the stuffed animal of it. Like they just always have good events and things. And then Crown Center has the Legoland and Fritz's Train Restaurant, which was always my favorite. It's where the train delivers the food.
The food, yeah. I've seen that. And
So fun. I mean, as a kid, you're just like, oh my God, that's so cool.
As an adult, I love trains. So
I know. I
just
still would want to go there too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the biggest highlights I could find of things that I liked doing as I grew up there. But and then food and drink, because I have more in this section than I did for St. Louis. So distilleries and breweries. So J. Rieger Distillery is where we took my dad last year for Father's Day. It is, or what? It was Christmas. No, it was his birthday.
Okay.
It was at the end of the year. But it was so interesting. It was a Prohibition era distillery, and then they brought it back.
All right.
More recently, like within the last 20, 30 years, I
That's
think.
cool.
And so you can do a tour. They also have, like a restaurant, a bar, or things like that too there. Kind of like the Budweiser has the beer garden and stuff. So that's worth going to. And it's in a cool part of town that there's not much else around it because that was kind of the highlight of its day. So they brought it back, and it's really cool. And then Boulevard Brewery is the Anheuser-Busch of Kansas City. So
Yeah.
that one's a good one, too. They always have great tastings, and you can host events there. My cousin's engagement party was there. Like, it's pretty cool. And then for coffee, the Roastery is my favorite coffee besides Starbucks because I'm a Starbucks junkie. I know it's not good coffee, but it's, I don't know, good to me. But that one's actually good. You can tour the Roastery in one of their locations where they actually, do everything. You can tour it and get, if they have like a proprietary blend, you can buy it and stuff like that. My favorite non-barbecue food is Chazelle, which is a creperie. Like Parisian, like crepes.
Okay.
So they do breakfast crepes, sweet crepes, savory crepes. So you can do like, strawberries and things like a sweet crepe. You can do, my favorite, it's like a chorizo and egg, like a breakfast crepe. But then they also have like chicken and things like that too. But it's so good. And the best part is I love like having I call it a Chazelle morning because really close by, there's a little cute Kansas City shop. So you can buy like the popular like Kansas City teas with like the heart. I don't know if you've seen those, but they're really popular. But things like that that are just really cute. And then barbecue. This is my last thing for Kansas City.
Okay.
And then we can touch on some of the little small towns and then be done. But the barbecue literally has its own app. There's the Kansas City barbecue app that will take you on different itineraries based on what part of town you're in. Or you can do an itinerary based on like how old the place is. So they have like a list of if you want only the barbecue companies that have been in business over 50 years. It's very interesting. But my personal favorite is Arthur Bryant's, and it's been in business for more than 50 years. Yeah. And it's really close to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and the American Jazz Museum.
Okay.
And so when I was a jazz band roadie. And so I did like lights and stuff for my high school jazz band.
Okay.
And so we played a lot at the Jazz Museum. They would hold like competitions and stuff for the community. And then we would always eat.
That was weird.
Yeah. Your apartment's haunted.
Apparently.
It's probably storming outside.
That's possible.
But yeah, we would always eat there. So that also holds like good memories.
Okay.
But it's also really good. Like there's not a bad barbecue place unless it's like a chain restaurant that's not good anymore.
Yeah.
But really you can't go wrong. And there's literally an app you can download that if you are that into it and want to take a tour of everything. But
okay.
So that's Kansas City. My personal favorites from growing up there. It's awesome. I think it's worth a visit.
So there's only a couple things that I would add. There's a few things I would add. Sorry. I'm going to have to put like a yawn tracker on this thing or something.
Yeah.
I just can't stop doing it.
But to be fair, you have been working for
I've been up
over
for
24 hours now, right?
I've been up for 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. 21, 22.
So a yawn is warranted.
So it's been a little while.
Yeah.
Anyway, the things that I would add is, of course, shopping at the plaza. Everybody likes shopping at the plaza. And the Christmas lights at the plaza, that's a big thing. Like going
you know what? We never really went to that. I was never a big Christmas lights person.
I love Christmas lights.
Yeah.
And
I think you have to like Christmas to like Christmas
We'll get to
lights.
another thing with Christmas lights here in a few minutes, but and it's in a different town, but it's like overkill with Christmas lights almost. And then seeing some sort of show at the at the Starlight Theater, which is a very cool...
Yeah, the outdoor theater. Mm-hmm.
Just an outdoor... It's an outdoor amphitheater, but it's designed... It was designed by a pretty well-known architect, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And it's just a cool place.
Really
it's both indoor, and they can do indoor events, and
Yeah.
it's an outdoor amphitheater. So it's got both, and it's just really cool.
Yeah.
It's not something you see ever anywhere, because it just kind of looks different than just about every other type
It is.
of theater.
It looks more like a big Romeo and Juliet
Yeah,
stage is
it's
what I always think of.
Is what it looks exactly like. That they just do it outside.
That's where we saw REO Speedwagon.
Yep. And I saw Duran Duran there several years ago, too.
Yeah, I think I've also seen, because we went there a lot, because they do a lot of shows,
Yeah.
Mamma Mia, and different plays, too,
Yeah,
not just concerts.
they do like a Broadway series every year or something like that, yeah. And then...
Good one.
there is an airplane museum. There's a TWA museum, because TWA used to be
I didn't know that.
headquartered in Kansas
Yeah.
City. And there's actually a rocket ship on top of the headquarters, which is weird.
Interesting. Where is that? I don't know where that is.
It's downtown, or close to downtown. Just like
I guess I just probably
south
never
of
paid attention.
downtown, is where the headquarters was. It's a big silver and red building. It's still the same colors and everything. And there's a TWA rocket on top of it that
Interesting.
actually is used to be at Disneyland. So, so you've got that, and that's probably
Yeah, those are good additions.
all I have to add to it. I mean, there's a lot of
So
fun
much.
things that you can go do.
And
just
there's
about
so
anywhere,
many
so-
like hole in the wall things too. I mean, there's too many to name.
Yeah, Power and Light's really popular. It's kind of
Yeah.
it's basically like Cardinal Villages in St. Louis. It was actually before Cardinal
Yeah,
Village.
they do
in St. Louis,
shows.
so
And, yeah.
so
Good restaurants
So
and
Kansas City's a lot of fun.
I love Kansas City. I just love it, obviously, because I grew up right outside of it. So it was good
It's there,
memories all
yeah.
around. But yeah, it is a very good city. And I like that with the Chiefs actually being good, because the Royals and Chiefs sucked my whole entire
Yep.
childhood.
Yep.
But now that they're actually good, I feel like more people are coming and visiting and actually enjoying it. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
makes my little Kansas City heart proud.
Yeah. It is nice. It's cool.
So the next city I had on my list, and this one is really quick. I only have two of my favorite things to do, is Herman,
Okay.
which is a German wine town.
Yeah, just a little what, like 5,000-10,000 people. Like, it's a small little town.
Yeah, it's a
But they
very
do a
small town, but it's
Big
it's-
Oktoberfest.
Yeah, massive Oktoberfest. A lot of tourists go there for the wine, because there's like 7 different wineries, and you can do like a trolley tour that takes you to all of them throughout the day. But I just chose my personal 2 favorites for lunch and then wine. So Fernway Distillery has really good lunch and cocktails.
All right.
And that is kind of like on the main drag, kind of close to the river. And then I like when we get lunch and drinks there, and then go up the hill, drive up the hill to Stonehill and do like their tasting room. So good, because you can taste, like, you get a list and you get to choose like 7 different wines. I love their port, which is like extremely alcoholic and so sweet. It's so good. And it's like just very old fashioned.
Okay.
I like it. So that's my favorite day in Herman is doing lunch and cocktails at Fernway, and then a tasting or tour at Stonehill, depending on their availability.
So me and my dad went to Herman. There's a little museum like there in Herman, and it's just
Yeah, I've
kind of
never been there.
interesting to walk around the shops. Like,
Yeah.
there's just some cool little
The shops are
and
good,
stuff.
yeah.
It's right on the river. And of
Yeah,
course it's
that's where we actually got engaged. was
Oktoberfest
on the
is a
river.
big- yeah, and Oktoberfest is a huge party there for like several weeks.
Massive.
I just thought of something though in Kansas City that I forgot to mention.
Oh,
was
what?
the Renaissance Festival. Love the
Oh,
Renaissance.
yes. Yeah, and I
Which
didn't
is-
even think
it's
about that. We
It's
have that
what,
on
a
our
full
list
month and a
of-
half or whatever. It's like
Yes,
from
it's massive.
September to October, and
And it's
just
so good.
so much fun to
This
go
year was not as fun because I got overheated and almost passed out in my
Okay, well, that's not
corset.
good,
But
yeah.
I just need to not wear a corset in the
Yeah.
heat. But it's massively
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I think we need to go there closer to fall this year
yeah.
when it's cooled down.
Yeah, like
so I don't pass out.
closer to the end of the actual
Yeah,
fair. Yeah, maybe like a couple.
But
weeks
it's so
depends.
fun.
It's
So
so
worth
much
it.
fun.
But yeah,
But anyway,
so
Herman.
anything else for Herman?
I mean, just walking around the town.
Yeah,
it's
the
just
little
a
main
small
drag
little town.
is cute.
Yeah.
The shops. Antique
yeah.
stores. I do like the antique stores.
There's a lot of little antique stores and stuff like that.
And that's what I was going to mention. I didn't really write anything down for Rocheport, but Rocheport is kind of the same way. It's not nearly as big as Herman, but the biking there is good. They have a couple little antique things and a little winery, and so similar vibe. But Herman is bigger, especially because they have more tourists for the German influenced part of it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. That's Herman.
Yeah. It's just a little town. It's about halfway between Columbia and St. Louis.
Yeah,
So,
ish.
yeah. So it's just a little town, maybe an hour outside of St. Louis or something like that. So if you're in St. Louis and just want like a little town, which you can
It'd
also
be a
go to,
relaxing
like,
day. That's like our
you can also
relaxing
do
getaway.
like St. Charles though, which is a lot closer if you're wanting some kind of that vibe.
Yeah.
St. Charles is a lot closer, but Herman's fun too. It's a nice
Yeah,
little
I
town.
agree. I really like Herman. I feel like everyone I know has good memories there. Like, we got engaged there. We have two couples that got married there. Like, I feel like everyone we know is like, they just love Herman.
Yeah.
So it's just a cute little town.
Yeah.
So next up on my list is Lake of the Ozarks, which I don't have much for because I have never really been there that much.
Me neither.
I didn't know if you'd been there more.
No. I lived like 30 minutes outside of Branson.
Yeah.
So we always went to Branson.
Yeah.
Because there's a lake down there. Like,
Yes,
I mean,
there
we didn't
is,
ever
yeah.
go to the lake, but it's down there. And Lake of the Ozarks was...
So I have a couple things that, I mean, because I have done a couple things, but then a lot I've heard other people talk about. So I've been to Hawatonka State Park and seen the castle ruins.
Okay.
And that's cool. It's just, there's trails and stuff there too. You can just walk or jog or whatever. And then I've stayed at the Margaritaville, but that's about it for the things I've done at Lake of the Ozarks. But everyone talks about if you're like an avid golfer, Old Kinderhook.
Yeah, there's a lot of golf courses
to
down
be.
there.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah.
But that's the one I've heard people talk about the most, I think.
There's a lot of golf courses down there that I'm sure are beautiful because they're all around the lake. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they're pretty.
So, and then the food and drink that I could find, the Shawnee Bluff Winery is supposed to be a cute place, and then Wobbly Boots Roadhouse. Never been there, but that was on like the Show Me Mo website, and I thought it sounded cool. So.
Wobbly boots. Yeah. So
Very Missouri.
There's and there's other little things like there's little like kids play places and stuff like that.
Oh,
They've
there's
got, like,
so much like mini golf,
the
and there
go-karts
were
and
like
mini
5
golf and
different
stuff like that.
itineraries
Yeah,
for
but,
Lake of the Ozarks.
And then you've also got like they're building a new like little amusement park type thing down
Yeah,
there too, right
I
on
think
the,
they're really trying to
right on the water.
expand it.
So
It's becoming more popular, you know, with the Ozarks show, and now there's going to be a new kind of like off-brand Selling Sunset. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's
I think so.
a realty show about California, and then they have, you know, spin-offs of that too. And I guess Lake of the Ozarks is going to get its own
I
spin-off.
heard that, I think.
I watched the trailer and I was like, these people, I don't think they're from Missouri. I don't know. Maybe they are, and they're just like really snobby. But I was like, I've never met anyone like these people, so I don't know.
Anyway,
but I'll still watch it because you know I love reality TV.
Yeah, I don't, but
yeah. So that's Lake of the Ozarks. There's a ton more itineraries on the website.
Yeah,
that get way more.
Visit mo.com or whatever it is. Yeah, like there's tons of stuff to look for.
So the last big thing on my list is Branson, which I have a couple things for, but then I know you went there a lot more. So here's like the things I remember from going there growing up, because we did go quite a bit. The Titanic Museum was always my favorite.
It's so much. It's cool.
My dad would always go with me while my mom and brother did something else because they didn't care.
Yeah.
And I don't think my dad really liked it that much either, but he wanted to make me happy. So I loved the Titanic Museum.
Yep. It's a cool museum.
I love Silver Dollar City. I really do.
Yeah.
That and going to the Dolly Parton Stampede, obviously, is one of my favorites. And then it used to be you have to eat with your hands there because it's all like finger food type stuff. But
even though they gave you like a whole chicken or something, like
yeah, and you just eat the chicken.
Yeah,
because it's very much like a homegrown type of show. Post COVID, they gave us utensils.
Oh, okay. I haven't been there since I was a little
They had
kid.
like the windows up, and because we went like the year after everything kind of opened back up, and they were still kind of doing that.
Huh.
But yeah, that was always good. And there's just so many good shows. I remember going to like the $1 Million Quartet like Elvis. That was always good. Mel's Hard Luck Diner. I remember going there and buying the CDs of the waiters and waitresses that sing. That's the singing diner.
Okay.
Where they, stop serving and then all do a song, a performance.
Oh, I don't.
It's like a 50s theme, I think.
Okay.
50s or 60s.
That makes sense. Mel's is like a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool place, and I remember buying the CDs of the waiters and waitresses to support them. And then lastly, I just have the Branson Landing shopping and eating. And
the landing's kind of cool.
they have a lot of random stuff, too.
Yeah.
They have an olive oil store, and I left with 8 bottles of olive oil.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And they have like random little art stores too. And
lots of
things.
good restaurants.
They have a lot of cool stuff down there. It's just like along the river. Down
just
there.
a big shopping entertainment center.
And there's a lot of shopping down there. I grew up going there. Silver Dollar City is a lot of fun. It's almost always rated as like one of the top 5 or 10 theme parks in the country.
I love
depending
it.
on who you go to.
Because they have the rides, the food, and then the shows too. And I mean, I know a lot of theme parks have shows and stuff, but theirs specifically are very Ozarky.
Yeah.
You got the fiddlers, you got the banjos. I loved musical instruments of any kind growing up, but especially those.
Yeah. And there's so it's a lot of fun. And Christmas time is, if you like Christmas lights, they go all out with Christmas lights.
They go hardcore.
They have so many, like that place I've ever been to so much with Christmas lights. It is ridiculous. Yeah. It is beautiful. But like they wrap every tree with Christmas lights. Every building has Christmas lights that match the colors of the build. Like it is ridiculous. So that's a lot of fun. And it's themed as like an old 1800s town, which is like what it's supposed to be.
I love it.
So it's just kind of fun.
It's so cool. I love all the little shops. Like you're in a theme park, but you can also buy like homemade jam.
Yeah.
Like that's
just like
my ideal day. Ride a roller coaster and then go buy jam from a grandma and then leave.
Well, and they'll make it right. Like a lot of times they're making it right there. Like they have an old mill that they make bread in, and you can. That's where their bakery is. You can buy it all out of an old mill. They have.
Granted, it's expensive. You have to be prepared to pay the entrance fee for everything, but yeah.
So that's fun. As far as Branson goes, the museums and stuff are all kind of cool. They have like a wax museum.
There's so many random things.
There's just kind of they've got a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum, and just kind of
we only did that
stuff
once.
like that.
Yeah.
And then they've got a big river it's kind of a river. It's a steam paddle boat that you can take and do they've got like a dinner show out on the lake that does that.
Oh yes, I've done that. Actually, I did that with jazz band.
And then I grew up in Springfield, which there's, it's the third largest city in the state, but it's a lot smaller than Kansas City or St. Louis.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff there. They have a little art museum and stuff like that. But the big thing that I think is one of the bigger draws there, Branson is not that far away, so that's what pulls in a lot of people. But you have Bass Pro, which is, it's the original. They call it the granddaddy of Bass Pro stores. It's not the largest anymore because they built that. They bought the Pyramid, the former basketball place in Memphis.
Oh, interesting.
But it's the second largest store. It is massive, and it has, I think their aquarium, they just built an aquarium a few years ago, just opened it a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing a video of a drunk guy diving into one of the.
Yeah, it's rated.
I don't think that was in Springfield, but it just made me think of that.
At the Bass Pro, I remember seeing that too. But they have an aquarium at the Bass Pro that is now
it is really cool.
It's been ranked several years as like the #1 aquarium in the country, and it is really cool. It's really big. It's neat to see, and they have a couple other animals in there too. But it's cool to see. But other than that, it's another city, like a small city. There's not a ton to do, but it's just they got little fun.
And that's kind of where I had like Columbia and Hannibal. Like Columbia's got Mizzou and football and things, but beyond the college atmosphere, there's not a ton. There's little art things and lots. I love downtown food and drinks and things, but it's not like
they have the True False Film Festival. And some festivals and stuff like that we do here, but. And then Mizzou's a big draw because it's a first state college this side of the Mississippi.
SEC,
It's an SEC school now.
I went there and I don't really know much.
Yeah.
Because it was during COVID, yeah.
It's been a long, it's been, around for a long time. It's
Yeah,
got
it
a
is
lot of
pretty.
history,
I mean,
and it's
the
pretty
columns, so it is worth stopping by if you're like driving through or if you're here for a football game. There's lots to do that you can find online, but and then the other kind of big-ish town, it's still a small town, but big, like touristy, is Hannibal because of Mark Twain. So there's several different things to do in Hannibal. There's ghost tours, there's Mark Twain tours, there's their riverboat, stuff like that. But besides that, I could really only think of like there's a lot of caves. There's always cave tours.
There's
different
caves
things you can
everywhere
do.
in this state,
Yeah.
and they're cool to go see.
They are really cool.
I mean,
even Silver Dollar City has its own cave tour.
That's what it started as. And it's a mess. Like,
Yeah.
you walk. There's actually photos of it from back in the long time ago.
Oh, really?
Where they
Yeah, because I've done it more
in the
recently.
I want to say like the 60s, 70s, 80s or something like that. There's photos. They blew up hot air balloons inside the main cavern. Like, it's
really?
big enough that they could fly hot air balloons in the main cavern. Like, the
It
first
is
room you
cool,
go into, they blew up hot air balloons, and I don't know if they flew them out of it because there's a big sinkhole in that first room.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because it's large, you could probably fit a balloon through it. I don't know if they actually did that, but there's pictures of like 2 or 3 hot air balloons fully inflated in that main room, which is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And I mean, that's the one good thing about, not the one good thing about Missouri, but one of the few good things about Missouri, is everything is very pretty for the most part. You've got rolling hills, you've got lakes, you've got caves, like you've got the whole span of national parks, basically.
Yeah.
Versus the states around us are boring. Like Kansas and Oklahoma, like you just get bored. But at least here, there's so much pretty things, and the state genuinely is a really pretty state.
I mean, you're not really supposed to stand up for Kansas and Oklahoma and stuff like that, but there are things to do there. Like,
there are.
One of the things I would like to do in Kansas that I think would be cool is you can go tour one of the salt mines.
Yeah.
Which would be cool.
I'd rather go to Arkansas and see a diamond mine, but
I mean, I just want to tour a mine, really, which you can also do. Like, I think it'd be cool to do. Now, Missouri used to have a lot of mines. There was a lot of lead mines in Missouri.
Yeah.
But I don't know that you can really tour those. So,
probably not.
It's probably not
shouldn't.
the safest in the world. But,
and then there's a lot of cool historic things, like not necessarily cool, but interesting, Civil War sites, battlefields, things like that, too. So the state does have a lot worth visiting. It does, since we're in the middle of the United States, I do feel claustrophobic sometimes, but I've always been like a flight risk person. So that's just me. Some people are a fall risk. I'm a flight risk. And so I just feel trapped sometimes being in the Midwest. And so
do you think that would change if you lived in like Florida or something?
Well, I would not live in Florida, but
okay, well, like California, New York, wherever you're at, if you're on a coast or whatever, do you think it's going to change? Like,
no, I think no matter where I am, I'll want to get out.
My argument to everybody,
I don't think I'm ever happy.
Like, my dad, who still lives in Springfield, always used to say, "Oh, I don't want to live in Springfield. I want to go live in Kansas City, or there's nothing to do here." And I'm like, "No, you're just not looking.
Yeah,
like, there's stuff to do.
Well,
and it's like,
yeah,
because at a certain point, like." This is gonna annoy people, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You ready? Okay. So, at a certain point, in my opinion, in my humble, terrible opinion, if you've got like Kansas City, St. Louis, you've got everything to do there.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. There's only so many different things like you can have. Like, Kansas City has a great art museum. They have a theme park. They have sports teams.
Yeah.
They have all this stuff. So, like, if you're going to New York, it's bigger. There's a lot more people.
Yeah.
And it's more grandiose because bigger skyscrapers, stuff like that. Yeah. But there's still only so much. Like, yes, you can do a lot of things, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But there's only so
get it.
many.
It's
You
still
have everything
a
in
city.
Kansas City
Yeah.
that you do for the most part in New York. It
I
may
think
not be
for
as
me,
big. Like,
it's
yeah,
more
you don't have the
different
Met, but
cultures.
it is.
So I think some people are like, no, I only want to travel the U.S. And I get it to an extent, I guess. Like they don't want to get a passport or I don't know what their reasoning is. But I'm more of like, no, I need to like go to Italy or else I'm going to die type of thing. That's just me and my brain.
Well, we talked about our fantasy travel stuff last
I know. Yeah.
which we spent way too much money on those. Not real money, like Monopoly
Yeah,
money.
our fake money in our head.
Our fake money. But, I'm not going to knock anybody for wanting to just visit the U.S. because there's so much. It's such a big freaking country.
It's massive. Yeah.
It is huge.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much to do, and I get that.
So much to. There's so many different things you can see. Like you have everything from deserts to frozen tundras to tropical swamps. Like you have everything in this country.
And I think it's a very common thing. Like there's people from Ireland that live in a small town in Ireland. And they're like, oh my God, I have to get out of Ireland and go visit somewhere else. So I think everywhere kind of gets that feeling. But I definitely have that being landlocked in the middle of a massive country. It's like if I want to go anywhere outside of the U.S., it's going to cost a lot. And I think that's what bugs me sometimes is there's so much to do here and I get it and I can basically do whatever I want to do within the Midwest. But if I want to leave the Midwest, it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, I think that's just travel in general.
Yeah, but if you're like on a coast, you're closer to other coastal cities. Like if you want to go to Philadelphia, well, you may as well go to Boston, Washington, D.C., New York. Like it's all, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I think I just go stir crazy.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do. They get tired of whatever they're doing. So yeah, do we have facts? This whole thing's been facts. Do we have separate facts? Do I need to play the sounder? I guess.
Well, so I have some trivia questions if you want to do.
We could do that
Missouri
as facts,
trivia.
can't we? Yeah, let's do.
Yeah, those can be our facts for the day.
We'll do that as facts. Hold on. Yeah, I was told that these were extremely hard, and I just the response that I gave you was, okay, I will prepare to fail.
Yeah. I don't know. You might know these and you might not. I have no idea, but they were hard. As I was reading through them, I was like, okay, that sounds like it'd be a hard question.
Okay.
Okay. So, first question. What 1985 video game begins with the planned departure from Independence, Missouri?
I'm gonna guess the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we
have like a round of applause?
I don't know. Hold on. Hold on. There we go.
Nice.
Yay.
I've got it.
Woo.
Okay.
Go me.
Second Missouri trivia question.
I didn't know it started in Independence though. I've played the Oregon Trail. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Everybody dies of dysentery. You always die of dysentery.
I know it's always.
I don't know if anybody's ever made it through the entire game, but
I don't know. It's a good question. So second Missouri trivia question. What was famous author Mark Twain's real name?
Samuel Clemens.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Is that not is that
I know we were going to know that, but most people don't know that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
You're just smart, Kev.
No, probably not. There's things, random trivia. That's I do okay at random trivia, which is exactly what this is.
I know. Yeah, I do. I just pull random facts in my ass, so I get it. Okay, third Missouri trivia question.
Okay.
A side-wheeler steamboat that sank in the Missouri River near Kansas City was rediscovered in 1988 and became the source of a popular Kansas City area museum, which is why I didn't mention this museum, that preserves artifacts from the wreck. What was the name of the steamboat?
Oh, I don't remember. It's at the market. It's at the river market down there, but I don't remember the name of the boat.
Steamboat Arabia.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I do like that little museum. Is there a fail sound?
Yeah.
Why is this so long?
I don't know. I got some other ones. Yeah.
So the Steamboat Arabia Museum, I purposely didn't mention it, but I do like it. It's in the little farmers market and area in Kansas City, and it's really cool to not only see that, but also the market.
I went there when I went to Kansas City a couple years ago, and I went too early in the morning. It wasn't actually open.
Oh,
I should have gone back to see it, but I kind of had gone to another area and just kind of left it. But I would.
It's worth it.
It'd be cool to see this steamboat because it's.
And I think they recently discovered another one, and we're gonna add that to the museum or something.
Okay, yeah, I mean, because didn't they like pulled it out of the and kind of didn't really restore it, but they have basically a whole boat in that museum.
Yeah, you can like look at a balcony over it type of thing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Okay. What is this? Fourth trivia question. The presidential library and resting place of what U.S. president are located in Independence, Missouri?
Truman.
Yeah, that one was an easy one.
The only president from Missouri
I know.
ever. Yeah.
Applause?
Oh, hold on. Did I? Sorry. Not doing my job. Whoops. Last week I failed completely miserably at this, so.
Okay. What is this one? The fifth?
Yeah.
So, from April 1860 to October 1861, Sacramento's B.F. Hastings building served as the western terminus of the Pony Express. Where did the eastern terminus begin?
I mean, it's got to be somewhere in Missouri because we're talking about Missouri. So, I'm going to guess Kansas City.
You're close, but not right.
Is it in the metro, like the Kansas City metro area?
It's north.
Okay. Is it a town I'm gonna know the name of?
Yeah.
Is it Weston? No, it's not Weston. It's north of Kansas City. Is it St. Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
St. Joe. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I should give myself anything for that. So I'm just gonna,
you just get nothing.
I'm just gonna not do anything for that one because that was kind of a fail.
Okay, last question.
Okay,
last
St. Joseph's an interesting one, but okay.
Yeah, St. Joseph. They have a cool little. It's the Gore Psychiatric Museum, and it's a haunted place because they have a lot of old psychiatric. I think I've talked to you about this.
I think we have, yeah.
Because we need to go there. They have a lot of the stick an ice pick in your eye, lobotomies and things. Like they have the original tools and.
That's kind of scary.
So not only is it a museum for that, but it's also supposedly haunted.
Yeah.
But that's really the only thing I know of note in St. Joe besides the Chiefs training facility, which
it's not a real big
it's just
city.
A turf field, so.
What is it? It's just
it's
like
a small town.
Yeah, it's a small city. It's it's not
So we should go there. We should add that to our list too.
All right.
Okay, last trivia question. And you might know this one. What is the name of the oldest building in Disneyland that once served as the park's lumber mill? It now sits among the rest of Main Street's buildings as a tribute to Walt Disney's hometown of Marceline, Missouri. So the name of the oldest building in Disneyland that now is on Main Street.
Is it used as something still?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh.
I would assume so based on the name of it.
Okay. I mean, I could just start naming things on Main Street. I mean, the biggest store on Main Street is the Emporium.
Mm-mm.
But I don't know. Yeah, what is it?
It's the Opera House.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's used as something or not.
I don't know. There's a lot of buildings that are when Disney the way Disney's set up
to
is
different things.
You look at the buildings and they all say different things, but a lot of them are just one big building. It's just one big store.
Like it'll be like one shop, but it'll have different types
different
of buildings.
and they all look
like
the
a
front.
Main Street on that side.
I have been to Marceline and I did go to the Walt Disney Museum because that's where he's.
I haven't been there.
From.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like an hour from here, so it's not actually that far. Of course, I've been to a Disney museum that's an hour from here. There was actually another fun fact. Before Walt built Disney World in Florida, he thought about and built and bought. I think he bought land in St. Louis.
Oh, really?
He was going to build an indoor theme park. There was a couple rides that were designed for that park, but there was like a dispute with him and the Anheuser-Busch family over like how like it would work and things, and he was like, yeah, well, screw it, and moved because it was going to be all indoors. Like it was going to be a big building that had different floors that you could go to, and it would those were the rides would be on there. So but instead he went to Florida. So you know.
Yeah. That was all my fun fact trivia questions.
Right. Well, I think I did okay. Like I didn't do. I think I got half of them at least, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything else. We've already been going for like almost an hour and 10 minutes. So
Jesus, about Missouri.
Yeah. I don't know. I
guess I give it more credit than I usually do.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know, some people call it misery. Some people call it Missouri. Some people call it Missouri.
Missouri. Thanks for visiting Missouri with us.
Thanks for going on a tour of Missouri with us. The show me state.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Go visit our Instagram. You know, just interact with us. We're trying to have fun, and we're trying to. We're just trying to grow it and stuff, and just have some fun. So, hope you guys enjoy again, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.